When the pandemic hit, global travel stopped virtually overnight. Planes parked, hotels closed. With no product or services to sell, there was little point in spending on advertising. But one marketing sector did better than average, keeping travel front of mind.
A lot of destinations have released more PR campaigns. It's all about brand trust. We know that consumers now want more trust from a destination, a hotelier. If something like this should happen again, they now want to be with a trusted partner. So that brand awareness and the brand campaigns have been the strongest from a marketing point of view, and that's what we've seen come through over the last 18 months.
Well, I think the PR sector was actually pivotal during the pandemic. It's a communications industry, and governments were highly reliant on organisations being able to communicate their messages out. And it was the same with the private sector to a certain extent, but some private sector businesses just didn't survive.
As the world opens up, particularly for the leisure traveller, the travel industry is finding that it's not going to be the same as before.
In the past, it's been very heavily based on statistics, overnight stays, get as many people, fill the flights and so on. And there's suddenly a big question on how tourism boards, how hotels, how the general tour operators are going to tackle the aftermath of the pandemic, whether it's the environment and be more sustainable. And that's not just sustainability from a green perspective, but also in how a business survives in tourism.
Well, as you'd expect, all the big tourist destinations are here, whether it be the US, the UK, France, Italy or Spain. The question is, though, post-COVID, is this an opportunity for locations that are less well known to get noticed?
I think consumers' mindsets have changed. They don't necessarily want a busy hotel. They want to go off the beaten track. They want to be more responsible. You know, sustainable travel is very key. So going to those off the beaten destinations where they can then help build that community or that destination, this is a great time for one of those destinations to actually cut through in the market and actually offer something different to what those consumers want.
There were plenty of examples of lesser known locations promoting what they have to offer the post-COVID traveller. If you fancy joining just 2,000 overnight visitors a year, the Falkland Islands in the South Atlantic could be added to your bucket list.
Wildlife is our main product, penguins in particular, so great for birds, great for photography, walking and outdoor activities. So, and that's really, they're the markets that we're focusing on. A lot of the thrust of our marketing is now through our website, through Facebook, through Instagram. And the message we're really pushing out there is this is a place which is welcoming, it's open air, it's activity based, it's healthy. So we're trying to sort of get that, this trend that's emerged post-COVID, where people are much more predisposed to going to countryside locations, the seaside rather than city centres, and trying to sort of get that message across that the Falklands offers something very different.
Panama's Live for More campaign aims to increase the average spend per tourist and increase the average length of stay by promoting the options available for the discerning traveller.
We have been conducting our research, and we have studied the profile of the so-called discerning traveller. It's been quantified at over 500 million travellers that are looking for experiences immersing in nature and also in contact with communities. We had not developed tourism throughout the country. It had been more focused on the city and the Panama Canal. So now we have a pristine, untouched paradise for tourists now that are looking for wild places with local and authentic cultures. So we are working for the first time ever, a sustainable tourism master plan that has been approved by the cabinet and our president. So it's officially a state policy, and we're focusing on transforming our industry to create these new experiences throughout the country. So throughout our national parks, exploring our biodiversity and our ethnodiversity as well, with 7 indigenous peoples, Afro-Panamanian groups, very, very strong culture. Also the Spanish heritage is very colorful and lively.
The Great Outdoors is also part of the attraction of the Julian Alps in Slovenia, another example of how regions, and not just countries, are taking the opportunity to promote themselves in a post-COVID world.
People are starting to look in areas where they can stay longer and discover locally, and unknown can be on your doorstep. And the unknown destinations from before are becoming something to research, something new, but also something that people believe that can give them some distancing, social distancing place for themselves, and not necessarily to be just another tourist passing by, but more be part of the community, live there and be part of whatever the community offers. It's about aiming the right message to the right audience.
But regardless of location, there's a sense that the world of travel has changed, possibly forever.
There were trends that were already going on before COVID, and COVID just accelerated things 10 times. So I think there is something with the newer generations, millennials and Gen Z, are creating, not only are they driving more and more demand in themselves, but as they dominate also social media, they're also influencing the older generations. So these generations, maybe because of the digital age, they aspire and they yearn for contact of authentic things.